Hello, beautiful people. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day today. I've had this video on the list for quite some time now, and when Lindsay was looking through the different bookmarks, she came across this and thought this would be a really fun one to do. And I agree. I think this will be very interesting. I definitely, along this journey, have learned quite a bit about the differences in the culture between the US and the UK. But Lindsay is very new to this journey still, and so she definitely has a long way to go, as do I. I still have a long way to go to truly understand the main differences between a lot of people in the UK and the US. Do you have anything you want to add before we get started with this video?
I'm just excited.
All right, like always.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, enough rambling from us. Let's go ahead and dive in and check out UK versus USA culture explained.
Britain and America are like twins separated from birth. One was raised in fine aristocracy, and the other was abandoned at a gas station and told, good luck. These two great nations have dominated the world both economically.
Wait.
That's a good way to put it, though. Like two twins abandoned at birth. Like,
but we're more of like cousins instead of twins. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could look at it both ways. But see, the U.S. really came out of Britain, so we're more like the child that was abandoned instead of the twin, if you will.
I guess that's true.
Anyways.
The orphan that was...
The orphan?
No, not... I'm just kidding.
All right.
Economically, militarily, and culturally.
Everyone in Britain got in a big old boat and we set sail and we robbed, and this will sound far-fetched, everyone in the world.
Whilst having spawned from the same origins, they went off in their own two directions, becoming both very similar and very different.
Yo, we all are great. We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great.
I've started to get this feeling that I'm totally fucked. You know, everything's fucked.
Today, we will analyse American versus British culture.
The American comic hero is a wisecracker who is above his material and who is above the idiots around him. You know that scene in Animal House where there's a fellow playing folk music on a guitar? John Belushi picks up the guitar and destroys it. And the cinema
you ever seen that movie?
Just smashes it and then waggles his eyebrows at the camera.
Wow.
Everyone says, God, he's so great. Well, a British comedian would want to play the folk singer.
Comedy is a great way of revealing a culture's ideas.
Yeah.
So American comedy and British comedy, they're very different. American comedies always tend to be built around the idea of like optimism and positivity.
Be curious, not judgmental.
I actually reacted to, I don't know which video this, I don't know if this, I did a video about the difference between US versus UK comedy.
I would like to do something.
But I've done some other videos that are kind of similar. And I remember hearing about how, in general, our, if you want to call it TV programming, if you will, our movies and things like that tend to be, like I said, revolve around optimism, while in the UK, it's definitely not the case.
Like a darker, self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating, yeah. That was a way that they described how that's some of the comedy differences, that they're more self-deprecating there. We have a more optimistic lens that we seem to look through with our movies and music. It's very fascinating.
I would like to see something compared to really get a feel for it.
We'll have to do something. I'd like to do some more stuff like that.
I like that.
Is that Ted Lasso?
There's typically always the motion that things can get better. You can see this in the character Leslie Knope in Parks and Rec.
I can do it.
Oh, I love that show.
I can crush him. I promise.
And typically, in an American comedy, the cool guy is the main character.
So you know how to take the reservation, you just don't know how to hold the reservation.
I didn't like that show.
Now, let's compare that to British comedies. Typically, the idea in a British comedy is that life will always disappoint you.
We need to have a talk.
You finishing with me?
We weren't ever really.
Oh.
I see you not around, but here.
See you.
Secondly, you'll never make it in life. All your dreams and hopes and optimism is ultimately futile.
I have this dream. You and I own this skyscraper office block on the South Bank. And above us, on top of the skyscraper, in 50-foot-high neon lettering, are the initials of Trotters, independent traders.
Just above your head is the word tit.
other idea that is
that
shown is
means.
that you can always
Yeah.
expect the worst thing to happen.
So, yeah. Right, thank you very much. Do you like it? Oh, so I put that on you. Brilliant. Do you want another beer? Was that my beer?
Is that Gervais?
Yeah. Do you want me to get you another? Yes.
And
Oh, yeah,
finally,
clever.
the main character, the point of focus in a British comedy will typically be some awkward loser.
I like your glasses.
I'm afraid they're not for sale. Laugh all you want, they're not for sale.
So this leads us to our first key cultural difference. And that is American idealism versus British realism.
Yeah,
Instead of me telling you this, I'm going to show you it through expressions. Americans will say things like this. Well, you know what they say. The sky's the limits. You miss 100% of the shots you
I love his accent for American.
You miss 100% of the shots
You never
don't take.
Yeah.
don't take. Whereas in Britain, we'll say things like, got hope for the best, but expect the worst, mate. We
I
literally
say
have a
that
thing called
too.
Sod's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. And then let's say you have a situation where something is looking
That's
good.
wild.
You've got an opportunity. Americans will say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Whereas we'll literally say, well, old boy, don't count your chickens before they hatch. And then finally,
I mean, these are good examples, but I feel like we say those things in America
We
too.
do. We do to a lesser extent, maybe.
But here we call it Newton's law instead of Sod's law, where what can go wrong will go wrong. But
if you're in America and your whole life is going terribly, it's looking awful, Americans say, well, it's always darkest before dawn. In England, if everything's going well, we'll say, yeah, mate, but this is just the calm before the storm. So you might be wondering, why do we have these very distinct attitude differences?
Now stand aside, worthy adversary. 'Tis but a scratch.
A lot of the British attitude can really be pointed to our very long and brutal history. We've had tons of wars and plagues and religious upheavals. All of these things have kind of led to British people sort of having doubt and distrust into the future. Like, yeah, it might be going well.
But
I could see
But here's the interesting thing. A huge amount of people here in the US are from Britain at some point, their ancestry, just like us.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how
Just the separation.
separation
of
has
a landmass.
of a landmass has caused throughout the generations, things have kind of gone this way a little bit with the way looking at the world in a way.
I mean, so far though, I don't know if I totally agree with what he's saying because I mean, like I said, plenty of people here in America, myself included, and you have said the negative things too.
Here's what I'll say though. I mean, like I think I tend to look at the very optimistic side of things. Like I think between us, I think I am generally more optimistic. I don't
know in some ways, but in some ways not.
My whole thing is I'm the type of person that if something goes wrong, I have just a moment, a short period of time to where I'm like just I dwell in it for a moment. Yeah, that type of like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Blah blah blah. But very quickly, I bounce out of that, and I'm very optimistic again. And I
feel like I used to be optimistic all the time. And then for some reason, over time, I've just become a little more jaded and realist, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, things can change, right? But I think one of the you know this very well. You've even told me this. Like, I don't know if this is exactly this topic, but it's kind of this topic. Is how like I do not hold grudges at all.
Yeah, you're very quick to move on.
I'm very quick to forgive people if they do me wrong.
Sometimes.
Yeah, like I've been called it not just by you.
And like give people the benefit of the doubt when you shouldn't.
Right. Like I am very like I've been called out. I don't want to say called out, but people have said that to me many times, not just you, but you specifically. But I do. Someone does me wrong, I'm very easy to forgive them. I do not hold grudges against people.
I think that's true. I am more English, so to speak, in
that
cultural regard than you are.
Yeah.
In that sense. Yeah. Because I'm much more distrustful of people and expecting the worst.
Yeah.
But I'm optimistic too. It's weird. I don't know.
I mean, we all have our, nobody's going to be at the exact same level as everybody else. And I think over your lifespan, as you get older, you change. And so if you started off really optimistic, at some point, some things could happen to you. And I've had bad things happen to me, but they haven't jaded me.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, but that's not to say that something happens at some point that really causes you to have a period of time where you feel very negative in general. And but that, you know what? That can change back. You can start optimistic, get jaded for a period of time in your life, and then become a very optimistic person again, or vice versa. You know, I think it's a cycle, or things change. But yeah. Anyways, sorry about the rambling. Let's continue.
Oh, now, but tomorrow, a swarm of Belgians might come over and behead us. Understanding our history gives us this cautiousness to being too optimistic about the future. As well, you have to combine the religious attitudes of the Church of England. The Church of England was very much a believer in the idea of original sin. The idea that humans have fallen from God, we're all inherently bad, although we do have the ability to be somewhat redeemed. This has engineered a sort of attitude of cautious optimism. We're not entirely 100% pessimists. All of this combined with the fact that our weather is pretty shit.
Rain?
Yeah, I could see
Rain? Rain. Us Brits endure it on 199 days of every year.
Oh, man.
You could literally have a week of sunshine in England and think, you know what, this Saturday, let's go for a picnic with the family. And then because your dad showed some optimism in the weather, God will smite you with a torrential downpour for the next month.
I could definitely see that playing a part.
That is interesting. It's interesting though. I've done a few videos about the weather, and it really is interesting. Definitely quite a bit different from what we have on here on average. But people have this idea that throughout the whole UK, it's very, very rainy, but that's not always the case. London, it turns out, that area down there.
Is it the rainiest?
No, it's the opposite. It's not nearly as rainy as a lot of other areas, but there are some areas in the UK that are extremely rainy. And obviously, you think about Ireland as well. You think about both Ireland and a lot of the island of Great Britain, very green, very lush. It makes sense that they have more rain. But in the U.S., we have areas that obviously are going to get more rain and less rain because we're such a huge place.
I definitely think weather plays a big role
it does.
in people's attitudes, moods.
And I think on average you're going to have more cloudy days over there than you do here.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they're smaller islands play a role in that weather, craziness, so to speak. But yeah.
And so this general attitude can be completely contrasted with American optimism. And that stems from, ultimately, if you're the type of person to leave Britain, a established nation that has infrastructure, etc., hop on a boat, travel for weeks, months across uncharted waters to arrive on uncharted lands, to do that, you need at least an ounce of optimism.
That's true.
Yeah, that's very true.
Look, water, lands in the distance, see? Mate, you've been saying that for the last 3 fucking icebergs. Oh, look, can you see it? Another fucking iceberg. I'm tired of this. And then so after discovering this new land, which was a crazy thing to go and do, America then went through 2 great awakenings. I don't know what happened in the first one, if they just hit snooze or something, but the first great awakening was in 1730 to 1740, and then the second one in 1795 all the way up to 1835. So what happened in this was that the religious attitudes of America had evolved. New ideas around like self-improvement, the idea that everyone has the ability to shape their own destiny and their own future. Humans can be better, they can improve society, they can make and create things that make the world better.
Everybody, I know you can believe in yourself.
They had strong convictions around the importance of working hard, as well as very pragmatic attitudes, the idea that things should be done well and efficiently. These last 2 led to a very strong cultural focus on capitalism and efficiency in business, which all of this manifested itself in the idea of the American dream.
The American dream is just the ability to achieve. Anybody can do it, but you're not just gonna get it because you want it. You gotta be willing to work hard. You gotta apply a lot of hard work. You gotta apply faith. You gotta apply persistence. You've gotta never, ever give up.
So basically, the idea of the American dream is that any old piece of shit, old Bob who still lives at home with his parents,
I love it. Okay. If this is what British humor is, then yeah. Oh, that poor guy. Why did he use his picture?
He just woke up. He just had a bad night, man. He just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, man. I love that. That was funny. I don't know why that was so funny, but that was just... All right.
It's 40 years old. Anyone can go and do anything they want to in life.
But Americans are told they can become the next president of the United States. And they can. British people are told it won't happen to you. And they carry that. They carry that with them.
I don't know what's probably going through your head. You might hear that and think,
They can't. Oh gosh, okay, get it. I was in my head thinking prime minister.
Yeah.
I didn't actually think you guys were going to be an American president.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think, fucking hell, why are Britain so pessimistic? I mean, we literally had the biggest empire on earth. Why are we so deflated? And so that leads us to a very core cultural difference between England and America, and that is class structure.
I was brought up in a poor family, you know. Really, we had nothing, really. If I could get in a position that some of them people in, I would like to be in it. These lords or ladies or peers, or you're talking about them class of people.
The person. Wait, did he say class structure?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought he said claw. I was like, what is claw?
That's something that I want to check out too soon. Is they
like the social class?
They have the class system, if you want to call it that, is much, much different than we have here.
Yeah.
From what I understand,
much more divided, probably.
It's much more, I think it's much more noticed in their society than it is here. Like here, now granted, you can see someone who's like,
I feel like here it's not quite as important.
No, that's the thing. It's like, obviously you notice people that say are living in absolute poverty, like homeless people and whatnot. You would say, if you wanted to put them in a class, you would say they're in a lower class area, and then you would see the people like that are the elite or the politicians and the celebrities, the wealthy. But it seems like everybody, whether someone making $40,000 a year or someone making $300,000 a year, you notice the difference in maybe the houses they live in and stuff like that. But outside that, you don't see a difference in class.
And maybe
really.
it just depends on how you're raised too.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely does.
Because I was taught to treat everyone with the same amount of
Me too.
respect and
Me too. And I wouldn't treat anybody different, but I'm just saying I think that it's a bigger thing in the UK from what I've seen is class levels. And I think there's multiple class levels.
Yeah.
It's something we got to look into sometime soon.
His family started with William the Conqueror.
In Britain, the idea of class and where you stand socially has been a very core part of our identity. Until very recently, as a Brit, your whole life was decided before you were born. These differences between the upper class and the working class has existed through most of British history. There's like this idea that the upper class are pure blood. They were like chosen by God. They had divine rights. They literally referred to themselves as blue-blooded. And they were much better than the grunts working the coal mines to power their beautiful machinery. And so there's always been this attitude in England of like judgment between the classes. The upper class and the working class hate each other. And class is interesting because it's not just defined by wealth.
We give dinner parties 2 or 3 times a week. This enables us to keep in touch with our wide circle of friends.
We give a wine and cheese do once a month. This enables us to do it on the cheap.
Her mother comes round Saturday nights and drinks my Guinness. This enables her to get drunk for nothing.
Class is much deeper than simply wealth. It's the accent you talk in, the way you behave, the schools that you're educated in, if you're from Cambridge School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, versus the community college in Shitham. Literally everything you did would be defined by class.
I think working class people in general feel this kind of thing weighing down upon them, and I can't put it into words of what it is, but I think people watching this will understand that you feel it pushing you down all the time.
And so there's this understanding that there isn't much class mobility. If you are lower class, even if you got wealthy, you could never be upper class. There's no way. And so this kind of demoralization spawned a attitude in British people that things can't really get that much better. I'm always going to be judged for basically the background that I'm from. In America, as I explained with the American Dream, the attitude is that anyone can be anything. Americans love the idea of the rags to riches story, the underdog archetype that you see in films like Pursuit of Happiness or The Founder. Class does exist in America, but it is very different. You're probably going to see more things between North and South divides and racial divides. But I do, as a British person, quickly want to make a caveat. The British people have never had like outright defeatism. British people will try in life. They'll try very hard, but we just don't like to get our hopes up. We are optimistic, but just in a very cautious way. Like, Americans might aspire to be a millionaire CEO of a big tech startup, whilst British people will aspire to one day shop at Waitrose.
My wife likes to shop at Waitrose. It's the middle class option. People who shop at Waitrose, they like to drop it into conversations. You know, sorry I'm late, I was just at Waitrose! Just to everyone.
So the explanation on the class system leads us to another point, which is politeness and expressiveness. Here's your food, good sir. What the fuck is that? Everything okay with the food? Oh yes, lovely, thank you.
Oh my gosh, that's me. That's me. I don't like that. I just don't like confrontation. So if there's something wrong, especially at a restaurant, I have a very hard time like bringing it to their attention.
Overly aware of being rude and impolite, which has some benefits. You know, we treat people really well. We hate to be awkward and we like people to feel relaxed, but it can cause British people to take way too much shit and not stand up for themselves. Americans will tolerate less bullshit, which is a good thing, but then sometimes they can be a bit rude and a bit overly confrontational. I have waited exactly 5 minutes. It is a Big Mac. How long do you need? This difference when it comes to being polite probably stems from the British Reserve and American individualism. British people are very reserved. Typically, in public, we all sit like this, and we're all very quiet, and we don't laugh too loud, and we try and be really polite. And this can stem from the Victorian era. There was very strict social rules over behaviour,
ingrained.
Dress, the way you express yourself. It was very stern and rigid. The reason we tolerate so much shit is because we have the religious idea of turning the other cheek. As well, our probably over-awareness of people's personal space and being rude can probably stem from the fact that we live on a small island very closely together. We don't have a lot of space and we're all on top of each other. So we have a strong respect for people's personal space.
Okay.
And then, like, some of it is the fact that the upper class social attitudes probably trickled down to the working class, where it's always seen as being a lower class thing to speak loudly and have bad manners and be overly confrontational.
Can you come back in, please?
Oh my God, this is well harassment. I'm going to take this to the Court of European Rights.
And so, British people have the attitude of a stiff upper lip, don't show emotion, and don't complain about your problems. Whereas Americans, that is not the case.
All right, what country are we in the United States. You're goddamn right. You can't take a picture here. Okay, First Amendment. Get back over there.
I have a right to speak. I have a right to speak.
Deal with that.
This is my right as much as it is yours. This is my land as much as it is yours.
To Americans, I am important. I am the center of the universe. After the Great Awakening, there was a strong focus on individualism. Emotionality and expression is a good thing. Being outgoing and extroverted is a very American thing. British people are very introverted. Americans, after things like the Bill of Rights, have a strong focus on their personal rights and freedoms and liberty. In America, all men are created equal. And so they don't have this idea that you're better than me or I'm better than you by birthright.
Yeah.
We're all humans, we all exist, and we all deserve respect. And so this leads to politics and the attitude toward authority.
This is an illegal detention at this point. You better get your shit straight. Oh, I will file a complaint. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Like, right as soon as we leave here.
Am I not human to you, huh?
Americans are inherently very skeptical of authority. They believe more so in small government and self-autonomy due to the British ruling America and, being a bit naughty, a bit rough around the edges. As well, Americans are very rebellious. The formation of America was around escaping the Church of England. In Britain, on the other hand, it is different. We do have a trust in our government. It is waning currently, but typically we trust in social order and we don't really make too much of a big deal.
Did that say 75%?
Mm-hmm.
I think here it's probably I remember like 30% or something.
The trust in our government, especially.
But our government, there's reasons not to trust our government. Our government has proven over and over and over again they are not to be trusted. Our federal government is horrendous, and it doesn't matter what party gets in. The two-party system is the problem in our society. Unfortunately, we never have a third party come in because people are programmed to simply hate the other side no matter what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And they can never look outside of the partisanship and be like, you know what? if you sit down and talk to each other, you can find commonalities, things you agree on, and then maybe we can kick both these wings of this bird out of here, and we can bring in some people that are actually going to
make a
difference and be good and actually be in there. Like it always boggles my mind, and I'm not going to get into this that much, but it always boggles my mind how someone can go pull the lever, so to speak, and vote for someone who's literally been a politician for 30, 40, 50 years. Mm-hmm. These people are 90 years old, been in office for 50 years, and dude, like, you're still voting for this person? What? Why? Yeah. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it, but that's for another video.
About infringement of our rights. And that's probably because of years of unquestioned power by monarchs. And again, the stoicism and the idea of stiff upper lip, not complaining too much, not making a big deal. It kind of has led to this polite, submissive behavior, which sometimes is a bit embarrassing.
Careful, sir, it's hot. Oh, sorry. Might burn yourself. Yeah, sorry. Would you like some salt and pepper?
It's me.
Yeah, sorry.
Like, you can kind of picture the movie scene of a British person.
Not that dramatically, but like, I apologize for things that I shouldn't.
You apologize for things other people are doing.
No, like I was.
American person dealing with authority. Excuse me, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Listen here, tough guy. You don't talk to me like that.
My
hair. Excuse me, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, that's fine. We'll leave, for sure.
But darling, your dad owns a restaurant.
Yes, but I don't want to be rude. And so with all this, you can extrapolate these attitudes and understand different attitudes towards certain issues. You know, for instance, guns. Americans see guns as like a right to protect themselves from the government and other people. America's fast food and subsequent obesity problem has stemmed from the ideas of efficiency in business, not wanting to waste time on food, taking too long to cook. And then you have things like healthcare and welfare. Like in Britain, we have a pretty strong healthcare system. Let's not get into that. Whereas Americans are far more reserved on bringing anything into public domain, especially healthcare. Britain has an obsession with tradition and upholding tradition, whereas America have a strong focus on new and innovation, new products, technology.
By making the screen taller but not wider, you can see more of your content without the need to scroll. We're making scrolling a thing of the past.
And so look, I've picked apart British people and American people. I've made jokes, I've pointed out some bad things, but I want to say, and I think this is true, Americans and British people have a very deep mutual respect for each other. I think very much these days, ever since the war, we've had what has been dubbed a special relationship. I don't know if that's a gay thing or something, but whatever. As a Brit, I can say honestly, I really do love
this guy.
I love being around Americans. I really admire their confidence. They're so easy to talk to. They're very warm, open demeanors. British people can be very reserved at times.
Excuse me, young man, is anyone sitting here? No. Would you mind if we sat here? No, it's fine. I'm Ronald. This is Pammy. Actually, you forgot to tell us your name. Peter. Peter!
It can be pretty depressing talking with British people about the future and your ambitions. Whereas Americans are all patting you on the back saying, yeah, you can do it, bro. And I think Americans do appreciate British people as well. They probably appreciate our realism. We don't really bullshit ourselves. We're very honest. We know our strengths, but we also know our flaws. Often Americans see us as well-spoken and intelligent. And you can actually see our comedy has massively influenced modern American comedy. There's a lot more awkward, dry humor in American television now than there ever was in the past. And obviously, Americans fucking love our traditions, arguably more than us. And it leads me to a final thought, and that is about cultural homogenization. With the internet, culture across the world has sort of melted together. We're all seeing the same media constantly. I will listen to endless American podcasters telling me to go after my dreams and fix my life or something. The idea that the internet is bringing lots of different value systems together, and you can kind of choose which one suits you, as opposed just the one that dominates your country. But I do wonder, are we going to see less of these interesting differences, and are we just going to become a sort of best of greatest album kind of thing? Let me know in the comments if you want to see more on this topic. Check out the After This podcast where we talk more about this. Like and subscribe to the channel.
All right, guys.
That is an interesting thing to think about.
This was really interesting. By the way, I would not enjoy that conversation either.
It just depends on your personality type. There's plenty of introverts in the US too. We're introverts.
Yeah, I would consider myself an introvert.
Especially if I'm reading a book. I don't want somebody to come up and...
I'm introverted, not in the way of... In some ways, I'm introverted in the way of like... the true definition of introvert, where you get your energy from being alone.
Yeah.
Not so much that I'm like hiding under a bush or something.
Well, that's like a social
right.
phobia.
I'm not that. I'm literally just someone who, like, some people like get energized by going to the party. I'm the person that would go to the party, and then once I left, and I could actually, be doing my own thing. I'm more the person that would love to. I would get energized by walking through the trees in the woods. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The solitude.
Right. I'm more of that introversion. Some people though, they're full on extrovert. They go to the party and they leave even more energized than they came to it, and things like that. But we're neither of us are like that. But yeah, if I'm reading a book, or especially you, my goodness, I won't even go there. I interrupt you all the time.
He does it all the time.
She's a voracious reader, and I'm always, hey, just sit down right when she's about to end a book or a new chapter or something like that. But I thought this was fascinating, and I agree. I at least I hope, and it seems through my comments, that I have respect, and I think my family and the people I've known, I've never heard any disrespect towards the UK. Mm-mm. Nothing. And for the most part, most of the comments I get are from people in the UK being positive. You do get the people who are full on
hate America,
generalize everybody, say we're all stupid, and I ignore those people because they aren't offering anything of value when they go there.
You generalize an entire culture or a group of people, to me, that I just stop listening to you.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pay attention because you're not offering anything of substance. Instead of someone giving their perspective on, you know what, I think in our society, this, and this is better. Mm-hmm. Cool. That's awesome. We all have things that are positive and negative in our societies. And I personally would never just throw everybody in a country in one lump thing. You know what I mean? I would never do it.
Now, videos like this, you kind of have to explore the differences, but we're talking a normal conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are nuances to everything, and everybody is different, and there's overlaps in each country, but each country has something really, really wonderful to offer. Mm-hmm. And I've just scratched the surface on all the beautiful things that I've learned about the UK and Ireland on this journey. You're just beginning.
Yeah.
There's lots about the culture that I appreciate, and I love the traditions. Like you said, I think in a lot of ways, not all Americans, but me, I think I appreciate the traditions a lot more than
we're lacking it.
Right. We are. We do not have those traditions here that I kind of wish we did. Mm-hmm. In some way, some traditions, not all. But yeah.
But we love you guys.
Yep. I love you guys. I don't know if we're siblings like he was talking about, but I think we're definitely cousins. Yeah, this was really interesting.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think, guys. Do you agree with what he said here as a whole? Obviously, he had to kind of generalize when that's obviously not always going to be the case. I got a lot to learn about this, and obviously you do too. But yeah, guys, this was interesting. Let us know what you think in the comments. But you got anything you want to add?
If you want to see more videos like this, then be sure and let us know.
All right. But yeah, I guess this video is probably getting a little long now because we run a little long-winded sometimes. Me. I'm still going, even though I just was starting to say bye. I'm still going.
You did the outro.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know in the comments what you think about this video or others. Yeah. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.